forgot to tell you about this dream. It was experiencing the mind. How do you view the mind? I view the mind as like, I've heard it as a mind palace and like you can create anything there. So let's kind of go with that and elaborate on it. Imagine this super complex, giant campus. There is an area, a wing perhaps, in this campus of our mind. It's kind of like a fun house, the kind that helps us go through challenges. And that's where our fears are, the intrusive thoughts. They all exist in this one wing. I didn't see any of the other wings, but I did see this one. If you've seen Solo Leveling, they have that huge cavern. And then in that cavern has these like gargoyles. So imagine, and my silent sister, Simone, she kind of coined this as a threshold guardian. And this is like fear is blocking the doorway of you getting out of this room. And the goal, perhaps, is for you to get from this room down the hallway out of the wing, right? That's where you're trying to go when you're in this mindset and you're kind of stuck there. And on the outside of this hallway, once you exit the wing, you're in the clear. But while you're in there, it is challenging circumstances. Like you're constantly trying to cross this threshold, cross this bridge, like change the mindset in such a way that you can move forward and it becomes more of a habit. That makes some sense. Yeah, it's like I can see it. Imagine this gargoyle. They're in your face, they're jumping, they're like dodging towards you, but it's kind of like they're on a bungee cord. Like they can't actually hit you or harm you. This is fear. You're right. They can't harm you. Yeah, fear is taking shape and form of your biggest fear and lunging in front of you and making you scared so that you can't run past it. It is almost like when you're hypnotized, if you've ever been hypnotized before, it doesn't matter who's in front of you. Your mind is thinking that it's this thing. So once you run past it, now you're in this hallway. And this is where the distractions come in. So you've broken through the idea. You're like, I know I need to shift this. I know I'm not afraid of this thing. I'm moving forward. But along the path of moving forward, now you're faced with everything that wants to keep you from making it out this doorway. And imagine stuff is like flying at you. In Harry Potter, they have like the moving staircase. In Inception, like the dream starts to crumble. And there's that one fight scene where the like hallway is turning around. Like just imagine just like everything is happening. And this is where your focus comes into play. Your focus is what drives you forward to get you to the end of the hallway. Now you can end up stuck here if you allow yourself to be distracted. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. That crumbling scene, just everything's falling and you have to keep moving. And even him, he kind of got distracted in reading the confidentiality notice. And so they had to like flood the place. They had to flood it. They had to kick him or something. I think they call it kicking to get him to wake up because he was stuck in a hyper focused state, but on the thing instead of getting out. Interesting, isn't it? I know, right? That's an interesting concept. And this one wing where you kind of are going through the course of facing your fears and whatever fear is most prominent in that moment, I guess is kind of like that's the major aspect. That's the class you're taking, right? And this graduate program of growth, perhaps. Yeah. Well, in the hallway, there's this wall of cabinets, and it's not an Akashic record. It's more of a perversion of the Akashic records that we keep in our own minds, which memories, intrusive thoughts, fear, failure, XYZ, right? So those cabinets, they're opening, stuff is flying out at you, and it's like you can hear it. If I was next to it walking past, I would hear the things that affect me. If you're walking past it, you hear the things, running past it because you're not trying to stay here. These cabinets are throwing out any record they can, any information they can from any source, from anyone, like using it to try and keep you from making it. And at this point, if you were to turn your focus and keep going, you can see the doorway, right? But you stop here and you face the cabinets. And meanwhile, don't forget, everything else is still happening in the hallway. Reminds me of like Hera's Wall of Tongues in Chaos, that show. Yeah, she like has these drawers and there's tongues in it and it feeds her. But obviously, this isn't empowering Hera, it is disempowering us. Right? You hear the right thing and you start to slow down. You start to listen to it. And the second you listen and start to bring your focus to that thing that was saying, you get drawn in and then you just stay. And you're listening to the intrusive thoughts and it keeps you from moving. Other people are there, right? Like just imagine it's not just you. It's like a mud run or like some kind of obstacle course that many people of your soul tribe are in, or maybe many people you're close to, or people, whatever. Like some of them are getting stuck. Whoa. It's a great way to visualize focus and intrusive thoughts and just the internal atmosphere of what goes on in our minds as we try to navigate things like creating new habits and just breakthroughs in general. Like we are breaking through, we are creating a new pathway because it's created for us to stumble. It's created for us to be distracted and deceived and confused and to lose focus. So when you start to have more of a focus, whatever got you out of the room that passed your fear gargoyle, those same distractions won't have the same effect. You have faced that fear. You have surpassed that fear. Not saying it won't come up again or anything like that, but well, you can kind of breathe, you can open up, and you're pretty much changed at that point. You have what it takes to not go through that same version again. The door is right there and it's wide open and anyone can leave. Dang. The freedom you gain from surpassing that freedom gargoyle is what keeps you from being stuck in the next aspect on your way out. If you can keep the focus, you won't stay stuck. I'm zooted. That's good. Zap, for sure.